Thank you for watching WISD TV. My name is Dale Caffey. It is my pleasure to be at the St. Catherine Center with Miss Eddie Forsgard. Mrs. Forsgard is going to turn 105 years old on November the 10th. And Ms. Forsgard was a longtime teacher and a longtime principal at Waco ISD. And Ms. Forsgard, we're here to, first of all, wish you a very happy birthday. I know it's still a few days before November the 10th as we're recording this interview, but an early happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Now,
tell me a little bit about your teaching and your principal career at Waco ISD.
Yeah, I didn't teach. That's what I wanted to correct you on.
Okay.
I never taught at Waco High, you see.
Okay.
And I'm not just the schools that I attended are all the ones that I wanted to like to have recognition.
Okay, very good. As I mentioned, at Waco ISD, our school district, you taught, but you also started a long time ago when they just had the one-room schoolhouse, right?
Right.
And I'm looking at your resume right now, and it says it all started in 1930 at a place called Center Hill.
Yes.
And this was in McLennan County, right?
Yes.
Tell me about what you taught. You taught in a one-room schoolhouse?
Yes, and then that you see, you have to include all of the children, but extend it into the older ones as you could.
Right. So you taught in one-room schoolhouses. It says here at a place called Center Hill, and then you went to Chalk Bluff.
Oh, that's right.
And you had to teach children from the time they were little till the time they were pretty big, right?
That's right.
Was that a challenge?
You bet it was. Yeah. Of course, I had to eat some of the children helping too, you know.
Oh, right. Yeah, because you probably had to depend on some of the older children to help you with the younger children.
That's right.
Very good.
In those one-teacher schools.
Yes, right. And then it says you went to Sol Ross Elementary.
Yes.
Very good. Talk to me about some of the memories that you have. I know that you told me earlier that your memory's not as good as it used to be, but why did you want to become a teacher?
I wanted to be a missionary first. That was my goal, to be a missionary. And of course, the feelings that I had for that, I extended it to the children that I taught.
Right, you wanted to be a missionary, and in a way you became a missionary only right here in Waco, Texas.
Yes.
Because you taught children, as I understand it, who didn't have a lot of resources.
Didn't have what?
Resources. They were
no,
poor.
That they didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Were they poor children?
Beg your pardon?
Were they the more poor children in Waco?
Yes, quite a number, because I used to, we would have these saves on the square and and of course that was part of including that help into the help that I was giving the children, because what I was trying to develop was the desire to achieve.
Right.
For a better way of life.
So even though you were teaching children who were coming from the poor parts of town and the poor parts of McLennan County, you knew that if you could teach them something, they could better themselves, right?
Yes, because I extended my interest as a missionary to the lives of the children I taught.
What a wonderful thing to do, because you wanted to probably be a missionary and go overseas and take the gospel and to take good news to people across the continents.
Yeah, that's right.
But instead, you stayed here right here in McLennan County for, my goodness, how many years did you teach? More than 50, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah, I can't. I have a little note on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Number
you do.
of years I taught. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Let me read a few of these. Number one, you started in 1930 at Center Hill. Then in 1934, you went to Chalk Bluff. Those were both one-room, one-teacher schoolhouses. Well, here at Chalk Bluff, it says you had two teachers, you and somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah. And then in 1936 until 1971, you were at Sul Ross Elementary. That's a long time to be at one school, 1936 to 1971. And then it says here that after 1971, you actually went and taught a bi-county school for the deaf?
It was there, that's right.
Really? I did not realize we had a school like that in McLennan
Well,
County.
it wasn't a school, it was, well, I guess you would call it like a,
Yeah, it says a bi-county school, but I
Yeah.
mean, deaf youngsters were there?
well, it's what I could do with my ability for teaching.
Right.
She extended it into the area of their needs.
Oh, wonderful. And then in 1970, you weren't done yet, because in 1972 until 1979, you go to Hillcrest.
Hillcrest,
And that's where you wrapped up your career.
yeah,
And you were a teacher, but you were a longtime principal too, right?
yes, that's all right.
What was it like being a principal back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, all that?
Well, that was where I felt like I could extend my desire for missionary work. And you see, I had that drive all the way through,
Yes, ma'am.
was for a better way of life for the children. And that's what I was seeking.
Well, I'm hearing a constant refrain from Miss Forsgard about the children.
Yes.
You had a true love for children, right? And
Yeah,
still
oh,
do.
Yes. Oh, yes. And I never touched a child.
Yeah.
I didn't leave in there. All I had to do was to look at them.
Really? You know, because I guess some principals, had a paddle
Yeah.
or had some disciplinary measures, and you're telling me that you never had to paddle the children?
Never touched a child. Because all along this, when I needed discipline, I looked at them,
You just looked at them.
and that was it.
They knew by looking at you, uh-oh, I did
Yes.
something wrong.
That's right.
That is so great. Well, if I can do the math real quick, 1930 until 1979, that is a long time.
Yeah.
That's 49 years, if I'm doing the math correctly. And then you decided, I guess, enough was enough, right?
Well, I decided that I was getting a little older.
Yeah. You have a card that you're holding there. May I read it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to read this to the camera too. Number one, this is a happy birthday card, and this comes from your niece in Canada, right?
That's right.
Okay. And your niece in Canada says, "Dear Aunt Eddie, we wish you a very happy birthday. Lots of love from Jean. Wish I could spend time with you on your special day." And then, but she's in Canada, right? She's a
Yeah,
long way away.
right.
But here's a very nice one I want to read from your pastor at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. It says, "Dear Miss Forsgard," or Dear Eddie, as your name is, "happy 105th. I'm excited about bringing you communion on November the 10th. So your pastor is going to be here on,
I presume on the 10th.
yeah. And he says, "I pray that you will have a delightful celebration filled with the light of God's love." And so do we, Miss Forsgard. Congratulations on turning 105. I want to ask you, what is the secret to a long and happy life like you've had?
What is the secret? Well, I'm trying to be as mentally alert as I could in all relationships, and so it would be true to a better way of life and not something that you're going to throw aside and forget it.
Yeah, and you were telling me, I believe, earlier that you really don't like getting mad at you don't get mad at anything. You don't get angry a lot.
Well, only when the discipline was bad.
Only when the discipline was bad.
Yes.
Yeah. But you also told me your secret to life a moment ago was don't let things bother you so much.
What did?
Don't let things bother you. You don't let.
Well, not if I can help to solve them.
Right.
You see, I would like to do that if it's acceptable.
Very good. Well, I want to wish you a happy birthday again.
Well, thank you.
And thank you so much for letting us come into St. Catherine Center and letting us make you a television star.
What kind of?
You're a television star now. You're going to be on television. How about that?
Well, I hope it'll be worthy of your position.
Oh, it is worthy of our time by all means. Thank you so much. Again, this is Miss Eddie Forsgard. She's at St. Catherine Center, and on November the 10th of 2013, she turns 105 years young. A longtime teacher, a longtime principal, and with a longtime love of children at the Waco Independent School District. My name is Dale Caffey. It has been an honor, Miss Forsgard. Thank you so much for having us.
It's been a joy.
And thank you for watching WISD TV.